Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my brand new Forge Guard Forged Minions. It is so much stronger than the older version, currently crushing Aberoth and over 1,000 corruption. As always, I will show you every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now what you are looking at right now is 1,000 corruption and we have 3 modifiers on this as well. So you're going to show you what kind of damage you can get with forged weapons. Again, this build is way stronger than the previous version. Previous version was right around 300 corruption. Again, this one is currently at 1,000. And when we are done with this Arena Echo, I will show you some streamed gameplay of us fighting Aberoth. Now on here, the skills we are using, we've switched out Warpath and we are using Vengeance. It makes it easier to actually make forged weapons, and it gives you a bunch of damage reduction. We are using Ring of Shields. We are no longer using Manifest Armor because it doesn't really stay alive at this level. We're still using Void Cleave, and we're cleaving into our forged minions. And for the most part, the build is just a lot stronger because of all the new Sentinel tech that we have that I will cover later in this video. All right, wave 12. Champion should be coming out soon. Again, 1,000 corruption with 3 modifiers on this Echo. There is our champion. And done. Let me show you some Aberoth. So now let's break down the skills for our Forge Guard Forged Weapons, and I'll try and point you into the right direction on what nodes you want to take first, starting with our newcomer to the build, and this is Vengeance. First thing you want to do is come down here and take these bottom nodes. This is how you're actually going to generate forged weapons when you hit in melee range with Vengeance. And you're actually going to be able to create quite a few extremely fast. We tested Rive, we tested all the different ways, Warpath, to make forged weapons, and we felt like this was the best. But what's also great about Vengeance is this node right here, Bolster, which is going to give you 26% less damage taken and 50% to armor. This node is completely broken. It is so good. Everybody is using it in their Sentinel builds, and I see why. Next thing you want to do is come up here and get additional attack speed, and any remaining points go up here and get some armor shred. Moving over to our movement ability, Void Cleave. First thing you want to do is come down and actually turn it into a traversal skill. That way you can move through the map very freely with your Void Cleave. Next thing you want to do is come to the left, and the reason why we actually use Void Cleave is because of Molten Infusion. And what Molten Infusion does is actually stack and give tremendous damage boosts to your forged weapons. And you actually want to Void Cleave into your army of forged weapons to give them a boost to their damage. Last thing you want to do is come up here, cooldown recovery so you could use it more often. I could Void Cleave every 3 seconds and take some armor shred. And again, since you're not doing any damage, you never want to take any damage nodes. That's why we take armor shred here and armor shred up here just to support your forged weapons. Moving over to the third skill, this is Forge Strike. For here, first thing you want to do is come to the left, and snag all of these nodes right here. This is base damage for your forged weapons. This allows you to have more forged weapons. This allows you to have a forged great axe. You're going to come down and take multiplicative damage for your forged weapons, area for your forged weapons, and attack speed. So this entire skill is designed to just boost the damage and attack speed for your damage dealer. Moving over to the newly redesigned skill Symbols of Hope. First thing you want to do is come to the left over here and boost these 3 damage numbers. This is fire damage, regular damage, and crit chance for your forged weapons. Lastly, you're going to come up here and boost your endurance threshold and give you an extra symbol. Last but not least, newcomer Ring of Shields. Now, we weren't using Ring of Shields at first. We were using Manifest Armor. I recently switched this because Manifest Armor just gets one shot in Endgame. So we're taking Ring of Shields, and we're also automating this in the passive tree, which I will show you. But ultimately, you want to come up here to the left and take these 2 nodes first. This is going to give you block effectiveness on heal. It's also going to give you armor on heal. You're then going to come down here and take this node, which is going to boost your block chance and your block effectiveness. And so your shields last a little longer. You're going to boost their overall health and physical resistance. Those are the skills. So now let's break down the passives. At time of recording, I am level 98. Now, I will show you where I plan on putting those final 2 points. Now, in the base Sentinel tree, we are spec'd into health regen. So we've gone vitality, health regen, some resistances, extra block. You want as much damage reduction as humanly possible. So we took armor clad and then increased cooldown recovery speed on our void cleave and flat health. Pretty basic, 20 points in the Sentinel tree. Now, the first thing you want to do is go over to Paladin because you want to unlock Symbols of Hope. And on here, we've taken attunement, elemental resistance, block chance, flat life, and endurance. Now, if you need reduced bonus damage taken from crits, you want to take these 4 points and 1 point from defiance and put it right here. It is nice if you are struggling with that stat. I currently am not, so I just put it in endurance and flat life. And this will unlock Symbols of Hope. Now, moving over to Forge Guard, a lot of good stuff in this tree. We're taking armor when hit and physical resistance, block chance, health regen, dot damage for our forged weapons, damage mitigation from attunement with armor and attunement. On here, we're getting minion shred chance for our forged weapons, tons of physical melee damage for our forged weapons, and this is going to allow us to have 2 more. Since we're now spec'd into Ring of Shields, you want to take these nodes right here, which is going to automate Ring of Shields. When you get hit and you block, you have a chance of actually generating a shield, and this is going to trigger all your bonuses inside of that tree. It's also going to give you 10% less damage taken. Right here, we're going to also get more damage mitigation with liquid iron. This is 15% more DR. We're getting shared damage for our forged weapons on fire and physical, and we are dual wielding and holding a shield with the new Forge Master's Might. Now, this build, as far as like zoom, you cannot have haste with this build. That is the trade-off. This is how we've been able to push so much damage. It's because we are holding a 2-handed weapon and a shield, and it's a whole lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun. The final 5 points are right here in Void Knight, which is going to give you health, void resistance, physical resistance, but the threshold node is what you really want, and that is void and physical damage taken. Those are the passives. Moving over to last Epoch tools, we're going to break down the blessings, idols, and gear, starting with blessings. Now, there's no blessing on here that's actually required, so just know that you should grab the blessings that you need based upon your build, but this is what I am currently using. Void resistance, all resistance, minion damage, armor percent, and health regen. Health regen probably being the only blessing that's actually kind of required. Now, know that if you are struggling to stack armor, I would actually switch out minion damage for armor base, but that again is determinant of your gear. Moving over to idols. This is the main idol you want to look for, and this is a 4x1. I'm using double armor, and then on here you can get increased minion melee attack speed and minion melee base damage. Very, very powerful enchant for your idols, and you can use 2 of them. The other idol I'm using is health regen, armor, and ward decay. And then we are rounding out our resistances, lightning and necrotic resistance, with the idols here in the middle. Now, moving over to gear, you will notice that right now I am using a set item, I'm using a Weaver Will item, I'm using legendaries, and I'm using exalts, which is pretty cool from an itemization standpoint. And technically speaking, there is no item I am using right now that unlocks this build, which means you got to go find this item, because if you don't have it, the build won't work. That's not true. But that being said, there is some best in slots, and I will go through all of them. Now, the first thing we are using is the new Needle Sword. Again, I know this is a very popular item. It is not required by any means. Your forged weapons actually inherit the bonuses from your weapon, and this has melee critical strike multiplier, melee damage, strength, dex, and the implicits on it are melee critical strike chance and melee damage. And since it's a Weaver's Will, we could slam on here attack speed and critical strike multiplier. It just gives so much damage to your forged weapons. At the training dummy, we're ticking for almost 500,000 damage because of the Needle Sword. But again, the best weapon you could find is what you should slam in there. We are using Death Rattle for more minion critical strike multiplier. We are using the new Majasa Shield for some added survivability. We are using the 2 Phantom Grips. Now, Phantom Grips are designed for forged weapons, even though they're used on so many other builds. And on here, you're going to get 2 to skills. You're going to get minion critical strike chance. But the most important thing on Phantom Grips is the stats on your gloves apply to your forged weapons at up to 100% effectiveness. And these stats do stack, so you want 2 of them. And for our gloves, we are using Falcon Fist. Now, Falcon Fist, I know probably doesn't make sense. Again, this is not a required item, but Falcon Fist has 2 very important affixes at the bottom. Increased melee attack speed, which would transfer onto your forged weapons, and melee fire for you and your minions. So those are actually going to transfer onto your forged weapons. And these gloves are very easy to find with 2 or 3 LP. So then you're going to slam on it, increase melee attack speed, and increase critical strike chance to just again transfer those stats to your forged weapons. We are using the Vessel of Strife since we do have a ton of health regen on this build. This singular item is going to give you 2, sometimes 3,000 ward just standing still. And again, you get 1 LP slam health regen on it. The other affix you want to get, and this did take us a while to get, I don't want to say this is super easy, there is the Sun Forged Helmet Set affix. In my opinion, probably the strongest affix in the entire game. And if you can get this T7, so you get an item with a T5, then you use a Rune of Havoc to switch it on, you can get increased armor per forged weapon and increased health per forged weapon. What that means is 72 base health regen on this one affix and up to 150% armor on this one affix. It is incredible. We were able to do it. And it is very, very cool. So again, you're using a set item, you're using a Weaver's Will item, and you've got some legendaries. The other items we are using is just Exalted Gear. So right here, Attunement, Vitality, Health Regen, Health. For our belt, Minion Damage, Cleanse, Double Life. And for our boots, Attunement, Movement, Armor, and Hybrid Health. That is the gear. So now let's talk about leveling. This is not a leveling guide, but kind of get you pointed in the right direction on how I leveled my Sentinel. Now, there's a couple of skills I use. Really, there's 3 skills I use to get through the entire campaign. The first skill I use is Rive. I like Rive as a melee ability, and normally what I do is I will really focus on first and second attack, and I will eliminate strike 3, and you could pull enemies in. You can even come over here and get multiplicative damage to ignited enemies. So the main damage dealer I like while I'm going through the campaign is Rive. And the movement skill that I like to use is Lunge. Now, a lot of people don't like Lunge. I like it. You could switch in any movement skill you like. And the reason why I like Lunge with Rive is because you could reset it over and over and over again. Most of the time, you're not even running. You're just lunging from pack of enemies to pack of enemies because of Warrior's Renewal. So on here, you can get 2 stacks of Lunge, and you can reset it when you are using Rive. It works very, very well. The third skill that I use is Healing Hands. And Healing Hands can be manually procced when you use a melee attack right here with Cleric's Hammer, so that when you use Rive, you're automatically using Healing Hands as well, and then you're lunging around the entire map, and you want to come down here and turn this into a fire skill. So you have Fire Rive, you have Fire with Healing Hands, and you're lunging around the map. And a couple other things in here. The reason why I like Fire is because you have so many fire leveling items on here. So you could use Prism Wraps. I was using a Humming Bee, Firestarter's Torch, Calamity, Tomes of the Elements. Like, there is so many good fire items in low leveling that it just always makes the most sense to use them. You will fly through the campaign. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new Forge Guard forged weapons? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We are currently 1,200 subscribers away from 100,000 on YouTube. We've had over 20,000 new subscribers during season 2, and I'm just blown away by the support. Thank you so much. If you think I've earned it, please consider subscribing. Check out actionrpg.com, my newly launched website. There's creators like Frozen Sentinel, Babbling Bike, The Curse, and myself. Website's currently in its alpha stages, but it does have over 37 last Epoch builds on it. It is the first link in the description. It is also day 26 of my subathon, so if you have any questions during or any questions for the build guide, come by the stream and I can answer them live. I'm done. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.